The quest for a longer, healthier life isn't about discovering some magical elixir or revolutionary breakthrough. Instead, it's about understanding and implementing proven strategies that optimize your body's natural capabilities while fostering mental resilience and meaningful connections. For men specifically, longevity requires attention to unique physiological needs, lifestyle factors, and the courage to challenge outdated notions of masculinity that often discourage health-seeking behaviors. The foundation. Movement as medicine. Physical activity stands as perhaps the single most powerful longevity intervention available to us. But we're not talking about punishing yourself with extreme workouts or spending hours in the gym. The key is consistency and variety. Your body needs cardiovascular exercise to keep your heart strong and your blood vessels flexible. It needs resistance training to maintain muscle mass, which naturally declines with age, and serves as a metabolic powerhouse that regulates blood sugar and supports bone density. And it needs flexibility work to maintain range of motion and prevent the stiffness that makes aging bodies vulnerable to injury. The sweet spot for most men is about 150 minutes of moderate aerobic activity weekly, combined with 2 to 3 strength training sessions. This might look like brisk walking, cycling, or swimming paired with bodyweight exercises or weightlifting. But here's what's crucial. Find activities you genuinely enjoy. The perfect exercise program is the one you'll actually do consistently for decades, not the one that sounds most impressive or burns the most calories in the shortest time. Movement also serves another critical function beyond physical fitness. It's a natural antidepressant, stress reliever, and cognitive enhancer. Regular exercise increases brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which supports the growth of new neurons and protects existing ones. Men who remain physically active throughout their lives show significantly lower rates of cognitive decline and dementia. Nutrition. Eating for the long game. The conversations around diet can feel overwhelming and contradictory, but the fundamentals of longevity nutrition are remarkably consistent across cultures and research studies. Mediterranean and Japanese dietary patterns, followed by some of the world's longest-lived populations, share common threads. Abundant vegetables and fruits, regular fish consumption, moderate amounts of whole grains and legumes, healthy fats from sources like olive oil and nuts, and minimal processed foods. For men, protein intake deserves special attention. As we age, we become less efficient at building and maintaining muscle tissue, a phenomenon called anabolic resistance. Consuming adequate protein, roughly 1.2 to 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight daily, becomes increasingly important after age 40. This doesn't mean embracing extreme high-protein diets, but rather ensuring each meal contains a quality protein source alongside vegetables and other whole foods. Equally important is what we avoid. Ultra-processed foods, excessive sugar, and trans fats create inflammation and metabolic dysfunction that accelerate aging at the cellular level. The occasional indulgence won't derail your health, but making whole foods your default choice creates a foundation for longevity. Hydration, though often overlooked, plays a vital role. Chronic mild dehydration affects everything from kidney function to cognitive performance. Most men should aim for 8 to 10 glasses of water daily, more if physically active or in hot climates. Sleep, the ultimate performance enhancer. If exercise and nutrition are the pillars of longevity, sleep is the foundation they rest upon. During sleep, your body performs critical maintenance, consolidating memories, clearing metabolic waste from the brain, repairing tissues, and regulating hormones. Chronic sleep deprivation is linked to nearly every major age-related disease, from cardiovascular disease and diabetes to Alzheimer's and certain cancers. Most adults need 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep nightly. For men, adequate sleep is particularly important for maintaining healthy testosterone levels, which naturally decline with age but plummet when sleep is inadequate. Low testosterone affects not just sexual function but energy levels, muscle mass, bone density, and mood. Creating good sleep hygiene means maintaining consistent bed and wake times, keeping your bedroom cool and dark, limiting screen exposure before bed, and managing stress through relaxation techniques. If you snore heavily or feel tired despite adequate sleep duration, consider screening for sleep apnea, which affects millions of men and dramatically increases cardiovascular risk when untreated. The mind-body connection. Longevity isn't just about adding years to your life, but adding life to your years. Mental and emotional health are inseparable from physical well-being. Chronic stress floods your body with cortisol, which over time damages blood vessels, suppresses immune function, and promotes inflammation. Depression and anxiety don't just feel bad, they're associated with higher rates of cardiovascular disease and earlier mortality. Many men struggle with emotional expression and help-seeking behavior, viewing these as signs of weakness. This cultural conditioning creates a public health crisis. Men are far less likely than women to seek mental health support, yet they complete suicide at rates 3 to 4 times higher. Breaking this pattern requires recognizing that addressing emotional struggles is an act of strength, not weakness. Practices like meditation, deep breathing exercises, and mindfulness have robust scientific support for reducing stress and improving emotional regulation. Even 5 to 10 minutes daily can make meaningful differences. Additionally, pursuing activities that create flow states, complete absorption in challenging but manageable tasks, provides profound satisfaction and stress relief. The social dimension, loneliness, and social isolation are as damaging to health as smoking 15 cigarettes daily. Yet many men, particularly as they age, find their social networks shrinking. Work friendships fade after retirement, and without intentional effort, connections can wither. The longest-lived populations worldwide maintain strong social bonds throughout life. This doesn't mean you need dozens of friends, but you do need meaningful connections with people who know you, care about you, and provide both support and accountability. This might mean maintaining friendships from earlier life stages, joining clubs or organizations aligned with your interests, volunteering, or participating in faith communities. Particularly important for men is maintaining friendships with other men, relationships where vulnerability and authentic conversation can occur. Many men discover that their marriages are their only emotionally intimate relationships, placing enormous pressure on their partners and leaving them isolated if that relationship ends. Preventive health care. The unglamorous essential. Regular health screenings and preventive care lack the appeal of diet and exercise advice, but they're equally critical for longevity. Many serious conditions, from hypertension and high cholesterol to certain cancers, develop silently for years before causing symptoms. Early detection and intervention can be life-saving. Men should establish relationships with primary care providers and maintain regular checkups, including blood pressure monitoring, cholesterol screening, diabetes screening, and age-appropriate cancer screenings. Prostate cancer screening discussions should begin around age 50 for average-risk men, earlier for those with family history or African American men who face higher risk. Colorectal cancer screening should start at age 45. Skin checks are important for detecting melanoma, particularly for men who spend time outdoors. Beyond screening, preventive care means addressing small problems before they become major ones. That persistent cough, unexplained weight loss, or nagging pain deserves medical attention. The reluctance to bother doctors with concerns can allow treatable conditions to progress to more serious stages. Purpose and meaning. Perhaps surprisingly, one of the strongest predictors of longevity is having a sense of purpose. In Japan, this concept is called ikigai, a reason for being. People with strong life purpose show lower rates of cardiovascular disease, cognitive decline, and premature mortality. Purpose provides motivation to maintain healthy behaviors, resilience during difficult times, and a framework for making decisions aligned with your values. Purpose doesn't require grand gestures or complete life transformations. It might come from mentoring younger people, pursuing creative expression, contributing to your community, mastering a skill or hobby, maintaining meaningful relationships, or working toward causes you believe in. The key is engaging in activities that provide meaning beyond immediate pleasure or material gain. As men age, transitions like retirement, children leaving home, or loss of loved ones can threaten sense of purpose. Navigating these transitions successfully means proactively cultivating new sources of meaning rather than assuming purpose will naturally persist. Bringing it all together. Longevity isn't achieved through any single intervention, but through the cumulative effect of sustainable habits maintained over decades. This means avoiding all-or-nothing thinking that leads to yo-yo dieting, exercise binges followed by inactivity, or other unsustainable patterns. Small, consistent improvements compound over time to create remarkable results. Start where you are. If you're currently sedentary, beginning with daily 10-minute walks is infinitely better than planning an elaborate exercise program you'll never start. If your diet consists largely of processed foods, adding 1 serving of vegetables to dinner is progress. Build slowly, consolidate gains, then add the next improvement. Remember that setbacks are inevitable and normal. Missing workouts, eating poorly for a week, or struggling with stress doesn't erase previous progress or doom future efforts. Resilience comes from the ability to return to healthy patterns without self-recrimination or abandoning the effort entirely. Living stronger, longer, and happier is ultimately about treating your body and mind with the respect they deserve, not through rigid control or self-denial, but through choices that reflect genuine self-care. It's about building a life where healthy behaviors feel natural and sustainable because they're aligned with your values and enhance rather than restrict your enjoyment of life. The years you add through these practices aren't meant to be merely survived, but fully lived, with vitality, purpose, and joy from beginning to end.